And then you'll hop your toes out to the left side, preparing for the crescent lunge. So make sure there's distance between your feet here. Rising up, left thumb into the right webbing, and back bend. Lifting your back leg high, and then reaching around. Clasp with the other thumb in front if you can. As you take your back leg high, knuckles as high as you can. Breathing here, maybe looking up. And at some point on an exhale, folding forward onto or inside your front thigh. Next inhale, you come back up to wherever you want to be, maybe gazing up. And then as you empty, lower down, bowing down. Rising again as you're filling up. And this time when you go down, you're going to stay down. Bring your hands to the inside of your front leg, staying there, or bring your forearms onto something, relaxing your head. And again, just creating a little movement. So you can experience some different kinds of opening in your right front hip now. And then come onto your hands, cushion your left knee. And if you were confused by the hand thing on the other side, you'll be able to see it better on this side. So one hand on either side of the front, move your knee back a little bit so you're not on your kneecap when you bend your back leg. And we'll begin with engaging your quad by pressing your foot into your hand. Your left hand is preventing you from straightening your left leg. And then you let that effort go. Bring your heel in close. Again, you can be using a strap here. But if you're not, and you've got some good opening in your left hamstring, again, your fingers will point backward. Stay there. Or take your elbow back where you can't see it, so your fingers are pointing in the direction you're looking. Stay there. Or maybe you continue pivoting around. Your elbow points back, and your fingers point forward. So find that if that works for you. Again, you can distract yourself from the work in your left quad by doing something fun with your front arm. Taking the mudra, touching your front forefinger and thumb, keeping it on your knee resting, taking it horizontal or rising up, breathing. When you have had so much fun that you just can't take it anymore, then you'll let go. And lift up your knee so you can move the cushioning out of the way and bring your right leg back, downward dog. You're going to spend a few breaths in this downward dog. First by bringing your toes closer than your heels so you feel a little more in your inner ankles. Pigeon-toed. And then turn this into duck-footed, heels closer than toes, feeling a little more stretch in your outer ankle and calf. And then you're going to just bring your feet parallel. But we're going to turn this dog into another animal, down dolphin, by coming onto your forearms. So press your hips back, opening up your shoulders as much as you can. And we're going to play with forearm balance. If you'd like to move over to a wall, you can do that. And just have your hands maybe 6 or so inches away from the wall. Or you can just be playing out in the middle. Especially if you're not worried about actually getting all the way up to vertical, then you can just stay where you are. So you're just going to try to work on your forearms being as parallel to each other as you can get them. There's a tendency for the hands to be closer, so you're just trying to dial them away from each other. And then gazing down at the floor, you can just pick a leg, I'm starting with my right, and start hopping off of your right foot. And you can just do that, and maybe you go up, and the left leg is able to join the right leg. If you're there, you're pressing into your forearms, lifting, breathing. And coming down whenever you like. Same leg down. And let's take a brief stay in a child's pose. So hips dropping toward your heels, forehead resting on something, breathing here. And after this, we're going to try whatever variation, whatever form your forearm balance took with the other leg lifting first. If you don't want to repeat, then just stay in your child's pose a little bit longer. It might feel nice. Or come on up. Place your forearms parallel to each other again, rising up. And whatever foot you lifted up last time, take the other foot up instead. And again, you can just be doing a little hopping or hop up and let the other leg come and meet it. Maybe. And find whatever variation of this pose is working for you. Whenever you want, you can come down. And we'll then take a child's pose, this time with your hands back by your feet. Allowing a little more opening in your upper back after that work. Breathing here. Letting go. So there are a lot of great ways to go upside down. Forearm balance is one of the most challenging. I have a whole video called You Can Go Upside Down where I work you through from legs up the wall to forearm balance, and you can stop anywhere along the way. So if you're interested in going upside down, you can check that one out. So now we're going to turn this child's pose into camel pose. Again, if you are not very comfortable in camel pose, you probably don't want to come into it this way, but this is our challenging yoga class, so if you're comfortable with camel, this might be a fun way to try. So you're down in your child's pose. I know you can't see me, so I'm going to talk you through it. You're just going to hold on to your heels and then start to come up. And then you'll be able to see me and you can work on it a little bit more. So once you're sitting on your heels like in a Virasana but holding onto your heels, you're going to pull your shoulder blades toward each other and start lifting your chest high. If you do your camel with your head back, you can start to bring your chin high. And then you're going to press into your heels and start to lift your hips up and up. So your thighs start to come forward, chest lifting into your camel pose. If you wanted to just watch it first, we're going to do this 2 more times. So you can just watch once. And you're holding onto your heels, lifting your chest high. Trying to see if you can feel like, almost like you want to rip your hands off of your heels, but you're not going to let that happen. And then you're holding onto your heels, coming back, and going down to your child's pose. Exhale. I learned this from Barbara Banah, and it was like a revelation. It's such a delicious way to get into camel pose if you're comfortable there. So some inhale. If you watched last time, you can try running along this time. So opening the chest, head back if you're going there, lifting up, breathing in, holding onto your heels, trying to lift your chest without taking your hand off of your heels. Feel the opening across the front of your hips. And sometime when you're breathing out, let your hips go back down. And exhale. Forward folding. Child's pose. Last one. You can either join in, or if you've had enough, just stay in your child's pose. Breathing up. Opening your chest, using the back muscles. Lifting up. Camel pose, breathing. And sometime dropping back down. And this time when you're in your child's pose, you can put your hands wherever you want to. You can just drop them back by your feet. Maybe you want to bring them out in front, something different. And now we're going to do another inversion, headstand. If you're not comfortable with headstand, or again, if you want to move toward the wall, you can do that. But you can also just stay here and just with your breath, roll up onto the crown of your head and on your exhale back down. And just work with that. It's a wonderful thing. You can do that for 5 minutes and it'll be awesome. Otherwise, you're going to roll up onto the crown of your head and stay there, tucking your hands in to fill in that little space between the curve of your back of your head and the floor. Press your forearms into the floor. Again, you can follow along with the headstand instruction. If you're not sure with this, on my video, you can go upside down. But if you're coming along with me, you'll bring your knees off the floor, walking your hips closer and closer over your shoulders, and then heels right up, maybe staying there, or sliding your heels up, either a real wall or a virtual wall. So you're continuing the work of pressing your forearms into the floor so you're not dumping all your weight into your neck. And either staying a few breaths here, enjoying the inversion, or maybe you've already come out of it and you're in your child's pose again, or maybe you never left the child's pose. Enjoy whatever it is your challenging practice for today. And then you can bring your heels down when you're ready to come down, keeping your legs in close, feet to the floor, knees to the floor, hips to the heels, child's pose again. Some inhale when you're ready so you don't get dizzy. Breathe in as you sit up. Let your breath empty. And then just come over onto your right hip so you can swing your legs out in front of you. You're going to have a little fun with some core work doing an upward facing plank pose. So you're going to point your fingers toward your toes, pull your shoulder blades toward each other again, and if you can, you're going to lift your hips up in a nice plank pose. If that's a little too much for you, you can bend your knees and lift into table. But you're going to be lifting up one way or the other, maybe your head going back. And then I like to come down and play around with bringing my hips through and then coming back up, inhaling, and then coming back and through. And now letting your hands come forward, just letting them rest wherever they're going to go on your front of your legs, and take a forward fold. Breathing, pressing the backs of your legs into the floor. And then coming up to sitting again, rolling down onto your back. And we'll take a little twist. If you're going to be using some props for your Shavasana, have them nearby before you lie down. You can slide them under with your legs and over you. Bring your knees into your chest, give a little squeeze. Take your legs up and create eagle pose with your right leg in front. So eagle legs, legs over to the left, and your arm opens to the right. A few breaths. And this deep twist. When your knee can go all the way over to the side like that, your hip is drawn strongly in one direction. So your shoulder might be lifting off the floor, which is just fine as long as your shoulder doesn't have any injuries going on, in which case you'll want to prop it up. But otherwise it's okay for your arm to just dangle and get the big stretch across your upper right chest. Fill it up with air. And at some point roll onto your back. Undo the eagle legs and wrap them up the other way, left leg in front. Rolling over to the right. And then opening to the left. So your upper hip, one facing the ceiling, is moving toward your knees, and your shoulder is moving the other direction. Feel your nervous system calming down after all the challenge of the other poses. Now you're just grounding down on the ground, your breath is slowing down. Rib cage opening up, receiving the air. And then you'll roll onto your back again. Undo your legs, give a little squeeze. Do anything else that you might want to do before you relax. You can grab your little accessories and support my legs, my thighs with a beanbag. Cover myself with a sheet. Cover my eyes with an eye pillow. And then allow my body the time to integrate everything it just did. So get yourself comfortable for your Shavasana. And if you are someone who is attracted to the name of challenging yoga, you might be already rolling up your mat. And I would encourage you to stop immediately and lie down on your back, because all the stuff you just did and all the messages that your brain just sent to your muscles to get you to get into all those shapes that we just had fun doing, all that activity needs this time to kind of cement all of that. So if you just go rushing off to the rest of your day or evening without this time to integrate, you kind of wasted your time, all the time we just spent. So it's not a waste of time to lie here seemingly doing nothing. It's just giving your body an opportunity to file away all the experiences before you go off and demand new things of it. And you might find, as many people do, that if you really give yourself the time to experience the relaxation, the Shavasana, it will become one of your favorite poses, if not your favorite pose. So give it a chance. Settle in. Let your body do what it needs to do. And stay here for as long as you have time. Half an hour is not too long. Feeling the air filling your lungs, emptying out through your nostrils, or maybe every once in a while through your lips.